My name is Christian von Koenigsegg. I'm 40 years old, and for half of my life I've been on the quest to be a leader in the hypercar industry.
And I'm waiting for Bugatti to finish tire development for us.
Bugatti just got some really bad news. Koenigsegg's CEO made a big announcement that has everyone talking. This isn't just about fast cars, it's about who's really the best.
You know, the most annoying thing about that was we were doing the Gemera and we were happy with the car. 2.3 seconds, that's just amazing. Who needs to go faster and who can go faster than that to 200? And then like a few weeks later, boom, this Roadster is launched at 1.9.
While Bugatti was busy showing off, Koenigsegg came in with something wild that no one saw coming. It's faster, stronger, and smarter. Now, people are wondering if Bugatti is losing its top spot. What Koenigsegg just dropped might be the start of a whole new era. So, what bombshell did he drop? In this video, we will reveal what Koenigsegg's CEO just dropped on Bugatti. Why Bugatti is no longer on top. For a long time, Bugatti had the car world in its pocket. They were the brand everyone looked up to. With cars like the Veyron and the Chiron, they weren't just fast, they were ahead of the game. These machines didn't just break speed records, they changed what people thought cars could do. If you wanted the best, the fastest, the most powerful, you looked at Bugatti. Backed by the deep pockets of the Volkswagen Group, they had more than enough money and resources to create cars that seemed impossible. They had all the tools and support to keep winning. Everyone else was just trying to catch up. But something started to change. While Bugatti was showing off numbers and winning praise, a small company from Sweden was slowly growing into something serious. Koenigsegg didn't start big. In fact, it started with one man and a dream. Christian von Koenigsegg had no giant company behind him. He didn't have billions to throw around or a century-old legacy. What he did have was crazy ideas and the drive to bring them to life. He didn't want to make just another fast car. He wanted to make something different, something better.
I said to myself, if I'm going to build a car, it has to have some unique features. Otherwise, no one will buy a car from an unknown company in Sweden from a young guy.
So, did he succeed? This is just the beginning. Stay tuned for more details. The first few Koenigsegg cars didn't get much attention. They were fast and cool, but people still saw Bugatti as the king. Koenigsegg's cars felt like science projects compared to Bugatti's polished beasts. That didn't stop Christian. Every model he released pushed the limits just a little more. From the CCX to the Agera, then to the Regera, and now the Jesko. He kept moving forward. Koenigsegg wasn't just making fast cars, they were building smart ones, with new tech that no one else was even thinking about. Bugatti, on the other hand, kept doing what they always did. Big engines, heavy frames, and the same old formula that worked in the past. The Chiron was fast, no doubt about it. The Supersport 300 Plus even broke the 300-mile-per-hour mark, which made headlines around the world. But while they were focused on being the fastest in a straight line, Koenigsegg was working in silence. Their eyes weren't just on speed. They wanted better handling, lighter weight, smarter systems. And that's where things started to shift. In 2017, Koenigsegg surprised everyone with the Agera RS. It didn't just beat the Chiron in top speed, it set a new record. It reached 277.9 miles per hour, officially becoming the fastest production car at the time. That win was more than just a number. It showed the world that Koenigsegg wasn't just another fast car brand. They were serious competitors. They didn't have a massive engine like Bugatti's 8.0-liter W16, but they had clever engineering. They didn't have the same budget, but they had ideas that worked. Then came the Jesko Absolute. Christian didn't hide his plans. He said straight up that it was built to be the fastest Koenigsegg ever made, and maybe the fastest car in the world. People rolled their eyes at first. After all, Bugatti was still riding high off the 300+ mile per hour Chiron. But Koenigsegg had something different. The Jesko Absolute wasn't just about horsepower, though it had a lot, 1,600 on regular fuel, and even more with E85. It was about how the car used that power. It was about design, weight, and aerodynamics. One thing that really set Koenigsegg apart was how light their cars were. While the Chiron weighs around 4,400 pounds, the Jesko Absolute weighs over 1,000 pounds less. That makes a huge difference when you're trying to go fast. Every pound matters. Koenigsegg didn't just take shortcuts either. They built everything in-house. The engine, the transmission, even the carbon fiber bodywork. Nothing was borrowed. It was all designed by them for one goal, which is speed and control, and it worked. In 2024, the Jesko Absolute smashed the 0 to 400 to 0 kilometers per hour record, doing it in just 27.83 seconds. That beat the previous record by a good margin. It wasn't just a win on paper.
The Koenigsegg Jesko on the drag strip. This is happening. The car from Garage, Jesko Attack, of course the Absolute, which is the version aiming for high speed without a massive rear spoiler, with slipperier, more streamlined bodywork.
It was proof that Koenigsegg had figured something out. They weren't trying to match Bugatti anymore. They were trying to pass them, and it looked like they did. The buzz in the car world got louder. People weren't calling Koenigsegg an underdog anymore. They were calling them the new top dog. One of the biggest reasons for this shift is how Koenigsegg builds their cars. They don't follow the rules. Instead of using big engines and huge cooling systems like Bugatti, they go for smarter solutions. Their free-valve engine tech, for example, removes the need for a camshaft and lets the engine breathe exactly how it needs to. It's cleaner, faster, and more efficient. That kind of thinking is what gives Koenigsegg an edge. While others are adding more parts, Koenigsegg is taking things away and still getting better results. Another standout is their direct drive system, used in the Regera. It replaces the traditional gearbox with a single-speed setup and electric motors. That means less weight, less power loss, and a smoother ride. It's stuff like this that puts Koenigsegg on another level. They're not just trying to be fast, they're trying to change how people think about performance. And they're doing it with less money and less help than Bugatti ever needed. Bugatti is now in a tough spot. They're still respected, but they don't feel untouchable anymore. People are looking at the numbers, the records, the designs, and they're starting to see Koenigsegg as the new standard. Bugatti still makes beautiful, powerful cars, but the shine has faded a bit. They've stuck with the same formula for a long time, and now it's starting to show. Meanwhile, Koenigsegg keeps moving. New ideas, new records, new challenges. The most surprising part is that all of this came from a small company in Sweden. No big partners, no massive history, just a vision and a team that believed in it. Koenigsegg has done what many thought was impossible, and now Bugatti is trying to stay relevant. It gets interesting from here, keep watching. Bugatti's new fight to stay relevant. Even with all the hype around speed and records, Koenigsegg's real edge is how they build everything themselves. Nothing is outsourced. From the carbon fiber body parts to the engines and the control units that run the entire car, everything is done under one roof. This gives Koenigsegg full control over how their cars perform. Every small part is tested and tuned exactly how they want it. That kind of setup is rare in the car world, especially when you look at how massive brands like Bugatti operate under a larger parent company. This hands-on approach lets Koenigsegg tweak every piece to work together perfectly, which is one reason why their cars feel more like handcrafted machines than something built on a traditional production line. That attention to detail and innovation is starting to get more people talking. Auto experts who used to only speak about Bugatti's dominance are now watching Koenigsegg closely. Instead of following trends, Koenigsegg keeps coming up with its own way of doing things. One major leap forward came with their new light-speed transmission, or LST, which they built for the Jesko. Unlike normal gearboxes that shift step by step, this one jumps from any gear to any other gear instantly. There's no delay, no pause, just immediate power. Christian von Koenigsegg called it the fastest shifting transmission in the world, and based on how the Jesko performs, it's hard to argue with that. With each move, Koenigsegg has stopped playing catch-up. Their latest powertrain system delivers 30% more efficiency than anything else out there, all while making more power. That's a problem for Bugatti. Their whole legacy was built on huge engines and raw strength. But Koenigsegg is showing that lighter and smarter might be the new way forward. For a long time, Bugatti's method worked because no one else could match their resources. Now Koenigsegg is showing that you don't need to be the biggest to be the best. They're leaner, quicker, and much more open to change. The biggest shakeup might not even be about gasoline. The car world is shifting, and electric power is taking over more every year. Big names like Tesla changed what people thought electric cars could do, and now even hypercars are going electric. Bugatti has been slow in this area. They've focused so much on refining their massive W16 engine that they're behind in the electric race. When they joined forces with Rimac in 2021, many thought that would be the moment Bugatti went fully electric. But even after that move, they've made small steps. There's talk of electric models, but nothing major has shown up yet. Koenigsegg, on the other hand, didn't wait around. Instead of copying what others were doing, they created something new. In 2020, they introduced the Gemera, a 4-seater hypercar that combined a small 3-cylinder engine with 3 electric motors. That setup made 1,700 horsepower and could still drive on electric power alone for short trips.
We spent thousands of hours in CFD calculations and streamlining this car from a design perspective, from a cooling perspective, from a high-speed stability perspective.
While other companies were still talking about future plans, Koenigsegg was already doing it. And then, they took it even further. In 2024, Christian von Koenigsegg dropped a bombshell by showing off their newest electric power system. Called Dark Matter, it's a complete rethink of how electric cars work. Most electric vehicles use lithium-ion batteries. Koenigsegg's system mixes ultracapacitors with batteries, which makes their cars faster to charge and quicker to respond. More importantly, they can push out over 2,300 horsepower and stay cool while doing it. That's a major win because overheating is one of the biggest issues in high-performance electric cars. While Bugatti is still trying to figure out how to mix Rimac's tech with their own methods, Koenigsegg is already working on getting this system into future models. If they pull it off, they'll be selling the most powerful electric hypercar in the world before Bugatti even gets theirs out the door. Timing is everything in this business, and Koenigsegg might be about to take a lead that Bugatti can't catch. But even beyond speed and electric power, Koenigsegg is shaking up the market itself. For years, Bugatti's brand has been about insane luxury and extreme pricing. Cars like the Chiron start around $3 million, and that number only goes up with special editions. That strategy has worked because their customers, who are mostly billionaires and collectors, care about being part of an exclusive club. Koenigsegg used to play in that same space. The Jesko costs a similar amount, and their cars are also rare. Then things changed in late 2023. Koenigsegg announced a new plan that shocked a lot of people. They were going to release a new model that still had the same kind of performance, but would cost closer to $1.5 to $2 million. That's still a huge amount, but in the hypercar world, it's a serious cut. And it wasn't just about price. Koenigsegg said this car would have the same quality, the same craftsmanship, and the same crazy performance numbers they're known for. Basically, it would be a Bugatti-level car without the Bugatti-level price. That move could hit Bugatti hard. If Koenigsegg starts delivering cars that are just as fast, just as advanced, and half the price, then why would anyone pay more just for the Bugatti name? It puts the French automaker in a tough spot. They either drop their prices and risk losing their luxury status, or try to explain why they're still worth twice as much. Either way, it's not great for them. Koenigsegg is also planning to make more cars. Instead of building just a few dozen a year, they're looking to grow into the hundreds. That still keeps things rare but not untouchable. It gives more people a shot at owning one, and that could bring in a whole new wave of buyers. A lot of younger millionaires, especially those in tech, are drawn to brands that break the mold. Koenigsegg speaks their language. It's about innovation, not tradition. It's about showing what's possible, not just sticking to what's been done before. Bugatti, by contrast, still leans on its long history and classic feel. That works for some buyers, but it doesn't connect the same way with the younger crowd who want the latest, smartest, fastest tech. A recent study even showed that among people under 45 with serious money to spend, Koenigsegg is now the top brand they want to own. That stat alone says a lot. This new generation doesn't just want a luxury name. They want something that stands out and leads the future. Get ready for the most epic moment of the video. Koenigsegg's new kind of leadership. Back when Koenigsegg was still looked at as a small Swedish brand doing things its own way, few people expected them to go toe-to-toe with someone like Bugatti. The French company had been sitting at the top for so long that it started to feel like they were untouchable. The Veyron broke records. The Chiron raised the bar again. But what Koenigsegg started doing was different. They weren't trying to just go faster or louder. They wanted to make cars that could do everything better. Faster shifts, lighter frames, smarter powertrains, and now, a new kind of electric system that didn't need to follow the same old battery rules. That's what made the announcement of the Absolute feel so final. It wasn't just a car launch, it was a warning shot, the kind of move that tells your biggest rival that the game has changed. Christian had already made it clear he wasn't going to wait for the rest of the industry to catch up. His cars weren't designed to compete, they were designed to lead. The Absolute looked like a car built to shut down every excuse, every doubt, and every argument about who sits on the throne now. The numbers themselves were wild, but what made people lean in was how calm the Koenigsegg team was about them. 1,600 horsepower, close to 350 miles per hour, lighter than almost anything in its class. A hybrid system that wasn't just powerful, it was smart, clean, and efficient. It was the kind of performance that didn't come with trade-offs. Usually, you give up something to get that kind of speed. Not this time. This car was ticking every box at once. At the same time, Bugatti was stuck in a tricky spot. They were still working on the next chapter after the Chiron, but nothing solid had been revealed. Their partnership with Rimac had promised a new wave of innovation, but so far, the public had only seen plans and teasers. No hard results, no cars on the road. While Bugatti was figuring things out, Koenigsegg had already pulled the curtain back on what was coming next. And it wasn't just hype, it was real, built, tested, and ready. That gap in timing turned into a massive advantage. Koenigsegg had the spotlight to themselves. Everyone was talking about them. Dealers, collectors, reviewers, and even rival engineers were paying attention. Bugatti had been the reference point for so long, but now people were starting to use Koenigsegg as the new standard. That shift didn't happen overnight. It came from years of pushing boundaries, making bold decisions, and delivering results that didn't need fancy press releases to feel real. The interesting part of all this isn't just the cars, though. It's the two people behind them and how differently they run things. Bugatti always felt more like a museum with an engine. There's beauty in that. Heritage, design, history, all of it matters. But Christian von Koenigsegg came at this world with no weight on his shoulders. He didn't have a name to protect. He had something to prove. That attitude shaped every decision the brand made. And that difference is starting to show in the way each company talks to its fans. Bugatti still leans into tradition, with grand reveals and polished statements. Koenigsegg, on the other hand, brings fans behind the scenes. They explain things. They share updates. They let the car community feel like part of the story. That openness built a whole new type of loyalty. Not just buyers, but fans who genuinely follow the company's journey. Younger drivers, especially the ones who've made their money in tech or startups, seem more drawn to Koenigsegg than ever. They like the mindset. They like risk-taking. They like the fact that this brand doesn't feel like it's trying to sell an image. It's a selling performance that speaks for itself. It's not just fans that are noticing. Even suppliers and partners in the auto industry are starting to shift their focus. Some companies that once would have lined up for Bugatti contracts are now looking at Koenigsegg as the more exciting partner. Do you think Bugatti will survive this takeover by Koenigsegg? Let us know what you think in the comments section. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Click on the next video displayed on your screen. You will enjoy it.